First message August 21st, 2016 around 9:58 p.m. I am one of 23 scientists responsible for what you. I'm here to answer questions regarding the original timeline and why it is happening. I will not disclose where I work or what I do at work. So in response to a message or so he says, why did you guys choose to change original spelling of the Bernstein Bears? He says you were being deceived. Timeline was Bernstein Bears, specifically the Bernstein Bears. Aaron was the update. Aaronstein is a layer to hide the truth. I think what he meant there was Aaronstein is the layer to hide the truth, but the Aaron part was the first change. The second change with the Aaronstein bit. The next message he states not everyone is accepting the updates. For some reason the veil isn't working on some people currently is spiraling out of control and anticipate a larger population that will experience memory anomalies for the next few years. By 2020 everything. There are differences in memory because you were not supposed to remember any of it. In fact, even implanted with multiple layers of memories that are false, somehow you remembered, and this is very concerning. I encourage you to try to hold on your memories. My thoughts is available. The hyperdimensional control matrix is discussed by Gnostics, shamans, and other mystical sects have to do with the Saturn machine. Why will everything settle by 2020? What is so special about that time frame? So you can see that we're actually being actively deceived. Why so our remembering is concerning, and get the scientist is encouraging us to try to hold on to our memories. Why does seem in contradiction, and also how does one go about what does that mean? We work for at least his perspective. I know what it means for my perspective, but from his perspective. Seeing her face just leave hold on your memories, so very practical. It doesn't really do a whole lot, but I do see the contradiction between hold on your memories and remembering is concerning. This is a proof of concept if we can override that puppy. Unfortunately, the future will be mostly manufactured. There was one person, and we are not sure how, but somehow caused this unraveling effect. We've been trying to locate him, but he is currently hiding. This person has created a breakdown on the veil. The whole system will fail unless we stop it in the next few years. This reality is a close copy of what we would call the real Earth. Unfortunately, the Earth was destroyed in 2012. My thoughts, this person that is being spoken, it reminds me of Neo character. I'm Dark City, the one person that is causing problems in the breakdown of the veil. Both instances neither really knew who they were until the plot unfolding. More so, there's a chance that this person doesn't even know he's doing it. In fact, I could probably see it now. He might have but he doesn't exactly know why or what. More thoughts. What is a collective consciousness of humanity being spoken, or how is this person causing problems with the collective? Oh, is this a bad? It's beneficial now. It's obviously badly scientist. It's bad to the scientist employer. Or if it's beneficial for us, the people who are behind the veil, what mechanism is this person using to block the memory implantation techniques? He's actually doing something. How is he doing that? How could shadow work in the individuation process discovered by the late psychologist Carl Jung be related? This, and speaking of that, Corey, and also discuss the collective unconscious. Yet our consciousness, the collective unconscious. The collective unconscious was like a puddle of our beliefs, attitudes, patterns of relating that everybody has. It was like the dominant part of ourselves, and our shadow also lies in this collective unconscious. In an interview, individuation shadow work is where we go through the process of becoming more and less of a group person, like instead of being led by the group and believing in groups, we become more of an individual who does her own thing, unique, creative. He goes on to say one of the scientists on our team shares original name. it as much as possible to cover the updates. I cannot say who his name is because it would give away where I work. Sorry, original name of what? That's for the questions you should ask him that will actually inform later. He goes on to say, fortunately, there was an extinction level event. Actor's current version and stay similar. We had to give you some updates. These include a larger liver to process increased toxins as well as moving some things around because your body will soon be unable to handle the toxicity of the planet. There are too many updates to the body. I don't even know where to start, so we are. This is something that I was definitely adamant about, but I didn't really understand how it works because how a doctor's gonna handle this? I mean, how a doctor's going to handle if you know something changed and the doctor goes to do a surgery and something's not in the right place, how they know where to look in on me? Wrong place in the person killed a guy, so that was actually for the whole changes in the body, but that is actually explained here soon. To my thoughts on this is so current environment is more toxic. Why did the toxicity of the world have anything to do with the chemtrailing in chemical? I mean, they are spraying us guys, they are adding chemicals to our food and water. Why are they doing that? Are they just making it so that we are more controllable, but they are killing us off too fast because of this thing, so they are changing our bodies to be able to keep up with all the things you're adding to us to control us? I think that's really what it's all about. System, they are poisoning the heck out of us, and in order to keep us alive while yet still killing us, they need to change your body a little bit. Another question is, could chemtrails be for terraforming our world for another species to coexist here with us, or is it meant to come a logical changes to make us more susceptible to their counterfeit sales and memory implantation techniques? So this other species could be easy, it could be ED, which is extra dimensional, we don't know, even a hybrid, but they are changing our bodies in to be able to cope with a new species living side by side with us. We use a quantum computer based on our own neural network. Unfortunately, some of the technology was passed down to us to be used for very specific purpose. Imagine Russian dolls. Do you have a pretty good idea? We are manipulating it, also being manipulated from outside, so our reality is one of these nested layers, and then we are nested with another layer, nest with another layer, etc. So every layer behind us has some kind of direction control, or at least input into our lawyer. Some layers inside that we are also manipulating. So quantum technology is obviously not this world, but was given to us by somebody beyond humanity's veiled level of perception. Who gave it to humanity? For what purpose are these extraterrestrials, extra dimensionals, spirit beings, astral beings? Are those who are manipulating from outside benevolent or malevolent? Are they the Archons spoken of by the Gnostics? Archons being reptilians and grace to make sure human. Yes, and I have a place to do it. The collective needs more data. In our experience is far more important than a planet itself. Fact, it really doesn't matter whether it is real or virtual. We are having interface problems at the moment. People reporting recurring headaches after the most recent updates. I honestly have an issue with headaches, but that's what this guy's saying. Sounds a lot like we're being set up for transhumanism agenda to merge with technology, as West Henry discusses in his book Synthetic Intelligence in the Transportation of Humankind, a roadmap to singularity and beyond, and I will link that below. It's a free ebook. See, where we live does matter, as we are in a relationship with a planet we reside on. Removing us from our planet will not only disturb her connection to the Earth, but also to our source. I do not consent to move, even if it's supposedly for my own well-being. I'm gonna sink with the ship, so to speak. I think this whole Okay if it's virtual is a setup, it's not okay if it's virtual. We lose a major aspect of herself when we disconnect from the earth, specifically her feelings, emotions. This is kind of I am. This can come through this connection. I'm not saying that the earth gives us Orion. We need this connection to maintain our iron. So the transmitters, them thing that really does bother me, how they just want us to believe that we really need their solutions, so they are creating a problem. They create extinction level event or the creative force matrix. They create a lot of problems on the earth to shake us up a little bit. We have the solution for you. It's called transhumanism. Why don't you merge with an AI consciousness to become a group? So like us, fully group soul, sacrifice your individuality for the sake of survival. But I call BS. No way, not gonna do that. I do not consent. Goes on to say, that is impossible, probably because I think the question had something to do with where do you live. I'm not even sure where I am from. We are all clones. We work approximately 5 hours per day on the server, and then we'll get a few hours for socialization. Believe it or not, we are jealous and wish we could be there with you. So there's a server that they are working on. The server is basically where our reality's house is. It may be our collective unconscious's house. There is the server, just the interface to our collective unconscious, but the server itself is his housing, is reality at the very least. At least that's what they are saying. So I guess Waffle House is a reality, but it's probably can also connected humanity's collective consciousness. This may be connected to the Nazi concept of the demiurge, which is an artificial intelligence supercomputer that makes up the matrix structure. It may or may not have initially been designed as a control structure, but it has since become a control mechanism. Ask for merch or nature. So the demiurge, that wasn't necessarily constructed or something bad or created something bad, is a control mechanism, but it has become a control mechanism because certain individuals took over control and hid how to operate the computer from us. I think we each have that ability to interface with through this reality in a way like Neo did in the Matrix movies, but because of certain individuals taking over certain group souls, or should certain malevolent beings taking control of the demiurge and preventing us from knowing how to use it. There's only one to know how to use it, so now they are creating reality. Yeah, then I'm gonna link below is called a Saturn Machine or Star Trek and a Saturn Machine, and you can look in that for more information on this whole idea of the Gnostic demiurge. In the Saturn Machine, he states the most common side effects we are dealing with is reoccurring headaches, shortness of breath, memory loss, and a feeling of joy. Various issues due to the interface changes. The brain had to be rearranged. We increased the size of the base of the brain, reduced the distance of the corpus, and shortened the area, the frontal lobe. But I think I know why they did that. First wall. Because if you're making the base of the brain bigger, you're making survival my instincts bigger. Do you know where our higher thinking is going on? So they are reducing our ability to think critically, that they are really just trying to reduce our ability to think. So do you want to put us more into our instincts, fight, flight, freeze, in less than our critical thinking? Apparently somebody was taking a shot at him right before. See you. In fact, I think I'm feeling sad. He thinks he doesn't really know I want to be with you on Earth to experience things as well. Is very sad. Sometimes technically I am on Earth, just not with everyone else. If you've seen the TV show on Netflix, Stranger Things, do you have reality's the upside down in Stranger Things? I'm not saying he's in the upside down or that's what it looks like, but he's in a different reality on the same planet. It sounds like a noble cause, yes, but unfortunately if we do not fix the anomalies, there's a possibility that would illuminate this existence for all of us, including myself and the next layer outside of ourselves. I'm not buying that. I think that they are afraid of losing control of the server. I don't think the server can actually crash, and maybe the layers that are going to die off or lose role as we don't really know what that is, but at least for him and his employers, the scientist and their employers, a server crash is a bad thing, as he had to be seen. If it's really a bad thing for us, though, many for toilet being saved in 2012. We were us. My employers have a desire to keep us alive and hopefully without any previous memories. Unfortunately, there are many errors to correct. You'll see very strange things about a month from now, so we are saved. Yeah, be careful what you hope for getting saved. Your savior always ends up becoming a villain. First, we become our own savior. We find our inspirational creativity or sovereignty from within. Courses, employers have a desire to keep us alive. We are their property. We are assets. I think of the movie of Jupiter Ascending, where people were owning planets, and where the planet Earth that was on, and it was bush farms so that they can prolong their longevity, and lose farming is where they are both sexual energy and they also farm fear energy. There's a really like it when we are afraid. We are in war when adrenaline is pumping because they are able to farm that they're farmers, and where the farm they won't definitely have a desire to keep us alive. Also, we're going to see some strange things in about a month from now. How interesting that would put things around September 21st or so, going into early October. We'll see. I'm not saying that the sky is correct, but if they start really shaking up big time Mandela facts please start hitting more at a time, or people start waking up more to the middle effect. I should be interesting at the same time that that's happening is probably coming to cause problems in the world. They call that wagging the dog. For example, if a president is in trouble, politically he might start a war somewhere. Well, because people are getting their memories back, then they might start some calamities around the world to get people focused on the calamities rather than on what's going on with her memories. So in reference to this color, this guy posted, he says her, but it used to be red. And I don't remember that is red. That looks more like a green yellow to me. But corn, and this guy, he says it used to be red to him, and the scientist says it remembers as a color. You a car red or red light color. You were from revisions 1 to 4. Originally the color was different. Yes, for me, I never remember that. Not in my memory. On my timeline, maybe the timelines are merged in different people from different timelines are there. Apparently you can be from different revisions. Quite interesting. I hadn't considered that before. Your intuition is the closest thing to the truth you can accomplish. Trust your instinct. Many the Mandela facts posted online. It's fairly involved, but intuition is definitely the start of working on the layer of truth. We can trust that. Yes, it is a beginning point at any point. This is why objectivity is so important. There's a formula for truth, and it said it's knowledge plus understanding. Predictions equals wisdom and truth. Now, if we have something that's not like that's a lie, then you have a lack of knowledge or hidden village minus logic and understanding, which means there's a logical fantasies plus country addictions equals family or a lie. There's something wrong with us going on and spotting a contradiction. So I see a contradiction is formula is a lie to now. That is a starting point. Now actually have to go into seeking the truth, and I have to uncover the knowledge. I have to discover the wide logic, and then I have to remove contradictions between a white and white, between knowledge and understanding, and then I can finally find the truth. And that's what we're doing in this video, or another series of videos trying to discover the truth, trusting your intuition as far as the him in where he's stationed, the base he's at, or the reality he's in. He says import We serve approximately 5 years' time and we are returned to the collective. We come from the same source of humans do, but we are here instead of there, which is why I am sad. I really don't want to do this anymore. So he's a clone. His thoughts are his mind. He was his consciousness. Human, the human collective, and placed in his clone, and he wants to return to the human collective. Either I don't know if as a body, or I think so as a body, wants to get back and experiencing things here on earth with us. I cannot find that he was talking about in this, but we're just gonna read it anyways. This is a deception. There's one finite reality and one overworked and overstressed server, and we are the ones who fix a code that is currently unraveling. It could potentially cause a system crash, all due to one person, so it's messing things up. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's a group of people, maybe it's a type of thing, but there's a server again. This is the Gnostic demiurge technology, and he is somebody who's trying to fix the code, the fractal base code, you mean? But also part of the collective. Imagine a drop of water in the sea. That is only way I can describe it using the English language. So Jung definitely talked about this. He called it the collective consciousness and the collective unconscious specifically, but it is a consciousness state that is collective and we are unconscious to it. So one guy says that the volume of our craniums have remained almost entirely consistent. Root recorded history. He's basically calling the scientist out and saying our cranium has been the same here. You're full of crap, the scientist states. That's an update. Marie and Anna, I think it's time our kids. The guy's name is anonymous. Everybody's anonymous on it, so that's an update in your false memory, and him as their software betters. The more patches and updates are applied, your history will change here and there. That means also our memories will be updated here and there, but certain memories, because certain people or one person specifically is causing an issue with this. I saw a lot of things that you know to be true, like it on the Volkswagen spelled with the N or Volkswagen spelled with an on. Those kinds of things are in place of memories we don't. Does the implanted memory the wagon with on, or is it the plant in memory the N? We know that the history now shows N, but I remember on. So this is where things get really confusing. We see the discrepancy. That's the biggest thing. We see a discrepancy. We see a contradiction. When we spot a contradiction, thought that is a formula for folly, for a lie. So then we have to start trusting your intuition in researching it further. My thoughts. This is interesting, as I was wondering how surgeons would be able to operate without noticing anything was different. Human anatomy. The false memories were kept going on as if nothing happened. This explains a long-hill question of mine. So doctors, surgeons, etc., airplane pilots, truckers are driving a certain path on the road. They have the memories are being updated, so they are not getting lost on the highway. They are not getting lost in surgery. What airport to the next airport? Why? Because humanity's memories are getting collectively manipulated. What collective consciousness are they manipulating when they falsify our memories? So Freud view of consciousness. Do you have a conscious and subconscious mind? That's 50 to 60%, and the unconscious mind 30 to 40% is probably at this unconscious level, but it could also be the subconscious level where our memories are being manipulated. So if you think of a giant pool that is at the base of his pyramid, that's where the most amount, and then our individualities cut out the top of the pyramid or become the most unique individual. No, I'm not. I'm at a hierarchy here. This is different, so try not to get confused between an unnatural pyramid hierarchy and what I'm talking about. We're just talking about a triangle, and how the top of the triangle is where you're most conscious, is where you're the most unconscious. So he says, yes, you are correct. Most people don't notice, but the brain itself is drastically changed, as well as where the brainstem connects to it. So our brain is being manipulated. Manchester mind or physical anatomy. Siri, get a little bit about Siri is using kinda to introduce anomalies into the server by networking it with multiple Wave 4096 machines. Only thing they have accomplished so far is minor anomalies, so that we're actually going to resist minor anomalies. So far, Roma, we have rewritten the entire skeletal structure, the rib cage, the brain. Wow, that's what I have to say. Somebody left a comment also, where did you learn through life where your heart is? For me, to the left side always has been, now it's more dead center. The scientist replaced, originally it was on the left side. Yes. This is one of the anomalies we are trying to fix currently. We also increased the size of the heart as well. So the anomaly, are they trying to remove our memory that was on the left side? Are they trying to move it back to the left side? Don't know. Increase the size of a heart as well. I don't know why, but maybe one of you, when you are with a collective, you're not lonely, is far better than being here. I cannot self-terminate. I have a very controlled existence. This is a sad boo. Whose story? Poor scientist manipulating humanity, but he's a clone. He has a controlled existence. This is what all of humanity has to look forward to very soon in the future. If they go to the transhumanist direction, they start agreeing to all these changes. They do this for survival. This is what they are gonna get. They're gonna have a very controlled existence where you can't even commit suicide. Here's along. Like I said earlier, it was an experiment to try and grab another timeline in 2 hours, one that was similar but its subtle differences, but they effed it up. The proof is that people are noticing the differences. That was not supposed to happen for most people. The spelling, the children's book means Ethel. Go out there right now wondering what the hell happened to their children, why they suddenly have 2 kids, when I know for a fact that they never had any before. It's stuff like that. I'm sure more going to come out, but I'm not sure exactly what. So there's people out there that are missing kids, or they have kids but they never had. That's a really big anomaly, and I wonder if we're gonna start seeing that even more. We are currently at 12,783 changes to the original timeline. Most are so subtle that only a small number of people would notice. Wow, what a changes. Everyone, sleep soon. I urge you not to forget your original timeline. So wherever he's at, there's people waking up. He's kind of in the middle night sneaking out to get to a computer terminal. The interface is with our reality and, interestingly enough, our internet. So he's interesting implication that if he's in, he can still actually connect to our reality here, the internet. So they have some kind of an interface there. But we have here, this picture is the original Stan and Jen Bernstein Harvey Sam without the Aaron and without the end. Says I'm posting anomalies that others have found in some that have not yet been found. It is important not to forget the original timeline. Again, he's talking about not forgetting. How do we go about that? What exactly do we do to not forget original timeline? Jeremy can help you and find him. Read between the lines. Okay, Jeremy, who is Jeremy and his highlight, and Bernstein bears Stan and Jan Bernstein. Jeremy can help find Jeremy. Read between the lines. There's a picture of before I got changed to Jeff. This one's wild. Maybe this will help you remember. Please do not forget the original form is on the right, and that's quite interesting. When you look at this picture you have of the one of the right, we're at the bottom. That's what I remember. Oh, there's these kind of shoulder bones that were there that are no longer there. And yes, I'm gonna work ribs at the top also of the rib cage. I don't see any differences in the I don't see any differences anywhere else, but it just seems like the rib cage, those floating ribs are a little bit different as well, but the one on the right seems to be the original. Interesting, the core of the human. Look at Donnie Darko. Solar plexus, teleportation of the human body, making piloting actions. The alteration of our bodies is beginning to talks by our memories. Release the current information like a dinner. Regurgitate any information you recollect having Courtney in his consciousness. Consciousness creates matter. Okay, Donnie Darko, that a movie. It might be interesting to revisit that movie now in light of this solar plex. Sorry, I don't know if that's a typo, but it's a solar plexus, but there's also white. Let's call this solar plexus, which has to do with a power center, is represented by the color yellow. What this has to do with teleportation of the human body, making piloting actions. I have no idea. The alteration of our bodies is beginning to talk. Sapphire memories, sure memories. I don't really understand that part either. Do a DNS flush. Is a DNS flush? DNS is a domain name system. Diana servers convert a domain name such as example.com into an IP address, in this case 192.0.32.1.0. Mapping of the names to numbers can change from time to time, so sometimes it no longer match because you get a new server, new IP address. Now you have to change example.com to the new IP address, so your computer holds record of DNS centuries to save looking them up every time. This is your DNS cache. You can delete those records or flash the cache anytime you like. In order to speed up the resolving of the matching between example.com and IP address, you have a cache on your computer that just makes it super fast. Is looked it up there rather than going out online and looking it up. If website has recently moved servers, you might see the old website for a while. Flushing your team. I explained to help, so how make that help though? How is that going to help us to flush our own DNS cache? We've been moved servers, is that was being said, so we are no longer on the same server. We need to flush that, but will that make us lose our old memories? Connect back to our old server. Is it going to help us reconnect the old Earth rather than a new Earth? And when I say the old Earth, I mean original Earth that we want to get back to. I'm not so sure that I want this new virtual Earth, so maybe if I do this DNS flush, I can reach the Earth again. Else maybe this will help us become in line with this new virtual Earth, and then we'll just be safe and surviving and having planted memories and go on about our businesses. If so, what do you think? So this is it. Says your consciousness was transferred to the server to avoid extinction level event. You may have noticed updates to your body as well as environment. I don't have much longer. I must leave now. Jeremy Bernstein, good luck. Okay, so there's a mention to the server again, the Gnostic server. It updates for body as well as environment, such as the continents moving. He doesn't have much longer. He's got to go, because if it is waking up in his office or is reality. And then I said, he says, Jeremy Bernstein, good luck, so I'll get to it. That means it's on the beginning of the disclosure. I cannot reveal the name of the other scientists, and then he gives hints about the Bernstein Bears being changed to cover up the scientist name. Finally breaks his own rule and gives his name anyway, Jamie Bernstein. This is a big contradiction in red flag to me, because it's like he's giving away secret information and the reader is the chosen few to receive it. This is sometime tactic, so that they start off by saying, no, I can't say that, but then by the end they say it anyways. So that's very subtle, but it very well could be misinformation and disinformation from something like a three-letter organization such as the NSA, CIA. Organizations. Who knows? Now that is a big red flag for me. However, we know that a lot of the best lies are based in truth, so they could be giving away a lot of truth here, while at the same time creating subtle distortions like his event that destroyed the world with. We need to flush your DNS and get back to original reality. We don't really know what it could be, but that's why we need to discern. We need to exercise our discernment. Discernment actually means critical thinking. We need to exercise our critical thinking if this is either misinformation or disinformation. mastic slant that takes no account mystical understanding of the demiurge technology and the fractal holographic reality that we reside within. The principle of correspondence, which is Hermetic principle, states is above so below as within so without, isn't just some silly esoteric or pagan mythology present insight that explains this. Fractal patterns and how they are able to replicate in multiple dimensions, directions, densities, and realities. So it's a mathematical thing. As above so below is a mathematical principle twice, when the Hermetic principle's one of the natural laws of our universe. Witchcrafting, it's not satanic, it is just a fractal truth. While the scientist is supposedly residing in a different layer of reality, he's still connected to a realm via fractal-based relationship. Their backstory takes us into account regardless. Believes what he's doing is for the best for humanity's survival, either because he was programmed to believe it and is spreading misinformation and disinformation. He has an emotional attachment to believe it is so because his employer can get fired or killed, or is mostly an atomic and with very little free will. So I could actually has some validity in it. Could individuation be our solution? Individuation is a process of psychological differentiation having force, goals, and development of the individual personality. In general, it is a process by which formed and differentiated. In particular, it is the development of the psychological individual as being distinct from the general collective psychology. In Jungian theory, the self is one of several archetypes. It signifies a current whole infinite both consciousness and unconscious mind up. Jung is realized as a product of individuation, which is defined as the process of integrating one's personality. And if I could only pronounce her name I would now, is from myinstructors.com on Carl Jung in the individuation process. How is this pretty number for a triangle? In voice triangle we had a conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. If becoming a self-unique self, which is individuation, you become individuated and now yourself. That means you have taken your consciousness in your unconscious mind and you're bridged the gap between the unconscious and conscious, and maybe I might say the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious. This is a type of the unity and alignment. The alignment of self. Self is all of these parts contained together. That means ego. To his ego is kind of part of the your. So if this is all connected together and you are one, you're in unity within yourself. Now you're no longer going to be bound to these changes that are going on in the collective consciousness, in this case the collective unconscious. So if humanity's collective consciousness is being manipulated from true technology of some sort that is utilizing psychological principles as well as other things, they are giving us false memories. But we are doing the individuation process by going in the shower, by analyzing our thoughts, reflecting on her thoughts, questioning our own questions. If we can question, we can start to analyze our thinking. Reflecting on that, we also need to analyze her feelings or emotional triggers and find the patterns in those triggers, because his triggers have a reason for being triggered. Lot of times it's regarding trauma. So if we can go, that's pretty time consuming, and it is really a lifestyle. We can really differentiate ourselves from this collective unconsciousness, become a whole self, and no longer be susceptible to their manipulation. So I think really this one person that he was talking about figure that is causing problems for their matrix is really just somebody that is going through and working through their issues. There are lots of great teachers who teach shadow work, and you can align with those people on. I myself also teach shadow work and classes and also individual sessions. I am definitely passionate about it. I'll go so far as say that I'm individuated Brian Hall South, but I'm definitely living a lifestyle of process, and this is why Aline and my wife and I have developed is called the Unity Process, which takes the Hermetic principles of natural law, It takes critical thinking, specifically the trivia method of critical thinking and emotional process work, and it wraps all up into a big bundle, and it uses it all to unravel this whole big ball of yarn, is big spider web, the measurement that we find ourselves in, so we can become psychologically differentiated, so we can become in who is sovereign and created a part of his collective. One individual really can do it all in, and I've been talking about how it's so important to become an individual who is like. We need to join this group. For that group we need to demonstrate in the big groups. It's about a lot of people coming together and doing it. Get more of us, we can overthrow them. That's exactly what they want. They want us in group thing. They don't even care if we overthrow them, because we are not overthrowing them at this higher dimensional level. Freaking government, really, it's not gonna do anything. It's not a solution. The solution is becoming a unique individual. Even one who reaches this individual status can throw a whole monkey wrench in their system, and apparently there's a visual out there who's done that, and it is individuals out there to stand that. Congratulations to them. In fact, even if they find them, they can't do anything with him because of free will. Attack him if they try to slow him down by dragging them. They are not gonna be able to do anything to him, because then all of a sudden everything he knows goes out to the collective and everybody comes individuating in an instant, and that would defeat the game. So this person is a grandmaster of chess. I see psychopaths, they want a group soul, and he's working towards individual unique souls. So I think this is the best solution, is individuation, and yes, I'm invested in the solution, and I think it's a solution even if this guy is fabricated. If he's completely fabricated, individuation is still my solution, and a Leon solution as well. I appreciate you watching and listening. If you enjoy this video, please click like. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe.